I'm Julie Hall. I'm a Professor of Higher Education. I'm the Deputy Provost at the University of Roehampton. I've been a real fan of the scheme from the beginning, and I was really keen that the university developed a UKPSF scheme. And I suppose really I see three benefits to that. The first one would be to learning and teaching itself. It seems to me that people often see learning and teaching as something they do almost automatically. It's not something they're particularly conscious of. Their research is something that they're much more driven to consider and to think about, whereas the teaching is something they just see as kind of part of their day-to-day life. The second I'd say is reputation. And for a university like Roehampton, it's very important that we've got evidence that we're excellent at research and at teaching. And research we can do through the Research Evaluation Framework, REF. But with teaching, it's a bit harder. It's very important that parents, for example, can see that this is a place that takes teaching seriously. And if other universities are wanting to show that through UKPSF, it's crucial that we're in the game and we can show that compared with other universities, we're taking teaching seriously too. And thirdly, I think it's about professional development. It's about people reflecting on their skills and experience and planning the next steps. Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely gaining currency here. What we've tried to do is put in place some levers, and I suppose the biggest lever we've put in place is linking the UKPSF to promotion. And so actually, if you want promotion, you've got to engage with the scheme. It's a little bit of a kind of push, but I'm confident that that push has been the right thing to do, because it's such a well-designed scheme here that even though we're giving people a push to be involved in the scheme, once they get involved, they get a lot out of it. What's been quite interesting being on the panel is that some staff do find reflection quite difficult, and I think it comes down to possibly two things. One is that people aren't used to reflecting on their teaching and really perhaps possibly being quite honest about the issues they've faced, the problems they've faced, how they've overcome them. They're a bit nervous about sort of deep reflection, which indicates that some teaching is challenging. And secondly, I think there's a sense sometimes that this is just a hoop to jump through, and you can just sort of write a kind of very shallow commentary on what you've been doing, and that's enough. And if we do see that on the panel, we send that application back, and we often say to people, we'd like to hear a bit more about your style, why you've come to teach in that way, not that way. Because what we're doing is we're making teachers, or we're helping teachers become more conscious of the teaching methods they're using. We're asking them also to give us evidence that the methods they're using are benefiting students. And for some teachers, strangely enough, this is the first time they've thought about how their methods affect students. And so if nothing else, I think the scheme is wonderful for that. During the period of the scheme at Roehampton, we've seen our National Student Survey scores rise. We've seen our retention improve. And we've had more National Teaching Fellows. Now, I can't actually say cause and effect that one has actually totally affected the other, but I'd like to think, and I think it's fair to say, that having good numbers of people engaging with the scheme every year is bound to have contributed to those better scores.